Hey everyone, and welcome to the commentary of my Skyrim main quest speedrun. So I see a lot of comments on my videos by people expressing confusion and generally just wondering what the hell is going on. So I thought I'd do a play-by-play commentary and hopefully help everyone better understand what's happening throughout the run. Before we start, there's a few things worth noting. The race I use is High Elf, as they're the tallest and therefore the fastest. The timing method used is in-game time, meaning that the timer pauses for anything involving loading, so that times are comparable despite varying hardware. Real time is still tracked though and still relevant, and the difficulty used is Novice since it's the fastest. There's also a few things banned in all runs, mods and console commands for obvious reasons, changing the game speed to be based on frame rate, and a glitch known as text glitch, which lets you skip through conversations faster, and the reason it's banned is because we don't know of any way to trigger it, besides just leaving the game open for a really long time. So with that said, let's start the run. Timing begins when I gain control of the character and camera. Straight away I'll activate Infinite Sprint Glitch by sprinting, quick saving, releasing sprint, and quick loading all in quick succession. This locks me into the sprint animation, giving me not only infinite stamina, but also letting me swim, jump, and do almost anything outside of combat while sprinting, which leads to some pretty awesome parkour as you can see here. That quick save there is actually the save I'll be using to continue the run from. The reason I'm going down here to the exit of Helgen Cave is to set up a save for a glitch known as Load Warp. A load warp is where you open the pause menu right as you trigger a loading zone, interrupting the area transition. The screen will fade to black, but the pause menu will still be open and the game paused. You can then scroll down through the pause menu, exit the main menu, and any save you load from the main menu, it will take that save and that character and put them through the loading zone you just interrupted. So now I'm making a save with unbound hands and a bucket, and then going back to the load warp save. It's a pretty precise timing, I get it second try I think. So I'll move forward, open the pause menu, exit the main menu, and now I'll load the save with the unbound hands and the bucket. And skip the whole of Helgen Cave, saving about a minute. You might notice a bit of a stammer in the sound, or the fact I'm able to move immediately after every loading screen. That's a trick called fade and skip, and all it is quick saving and quick loading during the roughly 1 second black screen fade in, which clears the screen and lets me move immediately. You might also notice I jump a lot throughout the run, like right now. It actually saves a surprisingly large amount when going up or downhill, and it also allows for more direct pathing by jumping over obstacles. Now, the reason I'm going all the way up here is to steal a horse and set up a glitch known as horse tilting. Horse tilting takes advantage of Skyrim's broken horse physics by walking a horse off of a large rock or boulder, causing it to cling to the vertical rock face and sink down towards the ground. If you get off at the right time during the sinking animation, it will propel your character off the saddle side to side at a crazy fast rate. The reason this is useful is because speed carries over through third-person saves, meaning if I load one while flying off the saddle, I'll be going at a ridiculous speed, which as you can imagine is very useful for a speedrun. So I made a save up in the valley there, quick save. I'll fly off the horse using the glitch, and then load that save, and now I'm going super fast. And the first use of this, I'll use to discover High Hrothgar and Dragon's Reach. There's High Hrothgar. And now I need to land in this river for Dragon's Reach. I actually had a bit of lag there, and that locked my forward input, which means I went way too far back, and then I had to like improvise and salvage it. I need to discover this farm over here, Battleborn Farm, for later on, tilting to Mazark and getting the Elder Scroll, and conveniently this guard's right in front of it, so I can just punch him in the face right as I discover it, and warp to Dragon's Reach.
You have committed crimes that you're going to...
He's not actually scheduled to be there too, which is funny. The first time you go to the outside of Whiterun, all the guards will be in like fairly unique locations. So it's a really nice little efficiency there. This next tilt's the Throat of the World. It's by far the most difficult one. I need a huge amount of speed to get all the way up. A lot of these tilts at first are just to discover locations to fast travel to later on in the run when I'm doing the actual questing. So this is like a series of checkpoints to gain height. Unlike when you're on a horse, it's pretty hard to gain height on steep slopes on foot. So I'm trying to hit these sweet spots on the mountain that let me go upwards. This is a good spot right here. I can just wiggle my way up. Once I've got enough height about here, I can go around to the other side of the mountain and hit this slope here, which is a really good one. I can just shoot right up it. And now I'm almost at the top. I just need to get a little bit more height to get onto this ledge right here. I'll just sort of smash my face into the mountain to do so. And then wiggle through these rocks, and now I'm at the top. So I discover Throw the World, and then swing around and head on to Riften Lake, where I'll be tilting to Septimus's outpost next. First I'll line up with Riften Stables, so that when I realign myself to be going forward, I'll shoot right through Riften Stables on my way to Septimus, discovering that in the process. This one's quite difficult. Very high speed, very far distance. I'll use a bunch of visual cues. The first is College of Winterhold. I need to go just to the right of that, and then I'm going bird's eye view to try and land as close as I can to the cave. And that was pretty much perfect. Activating infinite sprint glitch again. There's also little bits of RNG throughout the run. This is one right here, 54% chance to steal the lexicon. I also take advantage of the fact that if you crouch behind someone and they turn to face you, you'll still go hidden and stay hidden for about 2 seconds. Now I'm going to get the Elder Scroll since I have the lexicon. This tilt's quite a bit easier. It's like a middling sort of speed. I just need to negate fall damage on my way. Unfortunately I go to the right, which means I have to reload the save. If I go left, I don't have to. And that's like a 3-second difference. So I'm just like skimming across the landscape, making sure I don't take any fall damage, and then trying to finish as close as possible to Mizark. This is Mizark clip. It's as easy as it looks. I'll literally just like crouch down, wedge myself into the wall, and with a good setup and a bit of luck, I'll just go right through. And then there's a little bit of the lever, a tiny little bit, that I can reach and open the way into Mizark. I'm just looking at the ground here to get a visual cue to grab the Elder Scroll as far away as possible. Small optimization. And now I'm off to Riften. Just casually punching a horse my way in here. Even if I could pay off the bounty here, I would still go to jail. I need the lockpick from going to jail to do a vendor glitch coming up. First though, I'll use a wait and get Brynjolf to speak to me. That's just so I have a journal entry and a quest marker for Riften, and I can world map there much faster later on in the run. Here's vendor glitch. It's as simple as it looks. I'll just click and drag on my inventory, press E on the vendors. That opens the vendor's inventory in sell mode, and I can just sell him his own stuff and get 1,200 gold. Now even though horse tilting's a thing, I still want to use the carriage sometimes. Tilting across the world, it's far too risky and barely saves any time anyway. This tilt's pretty easy, but there's also quite a high risk of dying because I'm in the air so much. So first I'll try and hit this rock sticking out here to reset my fall damage, and then skim off the side of the hill to reset it again before trying to finish it directly above the cave. This is one of my favorite parts here, bit of Skyrim platforming. There's this puzzle you would normally have to do to lower the bridges and get up the Skyhaven Temple, but with some precise jumping I can just maneuver up there. And now I'll make use of that journal strat I was talking about. Next I'm off to Thalmor Embassy. The reason I'm going there so soon is to loot a chest that has a quest item. This quest item will activate a quest about halfway through the main quest line, which skips a whole bunch of stuff like Bleak Falls Barrow, killing the dragon, and getting the horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Another horse still to get up there. This is one of my favorite ones. It makes use of sideways tilting. Speed's not too important on this one. Fortunately I go left. If I went right I wouldn't have to reload. First I'll go back and forward over Catless Farm to discover that. And then I'm mostly just going left and right. No, left and forward up these paths here. Before pause buffering to finish as close to here as I can. Where I'll do an object clip. And all that is just running into a bucket and going through a wall. Bethesda games. There's the chest with the quest item. So now I'm like halfway through the main quest, and I have the Elder Scroll as well. So I just need to get into the actual questing part of it. Wait, there's to move Shivari out of the way here. And it also gets her to open the gate for me. The number of waits used in the run is actually very specific. Time schedule is really important for later in the run when I have to talk to Arngeir and Jarl Balgruf. Every hour they're in a different position, and if they're in bed it's really bad. They'll be at the far end of High Hrothgar or the far end of Dragon's Reach, whereas at just the right time they'll be much nearer to the entrance. I think I forgot to mention, quick saving and quick loading is a very fast way of skipping dialogue in this game. So like right there, that whole line's just skipped by quick save, quick load. And waiting is also a good way to advance NPCs through their various states and get them speaking sooner, or get them where you need them to go. So now I'm actually doing a proper sprint here, not infinite sprint. This is because with infinite sprint you can't bump people, and bumping is another way to skip dialogue. It also kind of resets the state of the NPC.
The dragon, no one can escape. You're the prophet. We must.
So I bump him again, talk to him, and now he's following me. I can just go back to the load warp save from before, and load warp out of the rat way. Open the pause menu, going into the loading zone, down to the rat way save. And now I'm out of the rat ways. Now here's a really cool trick coming up. I guess you could call it a wrong warp. Any save you load with a character that's stuck out of bounds in the overworld, the game will take that character and warp them to the default location of Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, which just happens to be exactly where I need to go with Esbern. So I'll get a ridiculous amount of speed here to break through the invisible barrier at the edge of the world. And then when I quick save and quick load, I'll end up in Sleeping Giant Inn. I have to go out here to get Esbern to show up. He kind of gets understandably lost throughout all this. And now going in and out of doors is also a way to advance NPCs and skip dialogue. I actually found a new method of duping right there in the middle of a run. I was just trying to grab a single bucket to use for a clip later on, but I noticed watching the run back that I had way more buckets than I should. So after some testing, it turns out you can just quick save, quick load, and spam E on an object, and it'll give you 3 to 5 of the item. That through the world fast travel is just a time schedule thing. Now I'm going to open the big face door to Skyhaven Temple, and since it takes so long to open, I'll fast travel away and do something rather strange for a speedrun, which is arrange a marriage with Mercurio. The reason for this will become clear later, but the gist of it is, if you fail to attend your marriage, whether it's by warping out of the marriage or just too much time passing, this will prompt the game to enable player control, and that, in combination with another glitch, will let me enable control at the Dragon Ren cutscene.
Need something? Here you are. Now, remember, people in Skyrim with a master of magic at your side. More people interested in your
But I'll go into more detail about that at the time. I'll do a little trick here and fast travel away before the quest updates. This means the 2-day timer on getting to my marriage doesn't begin until I've reached Skyhaven Temple, essentially giving me 3 days. This NPC interaction here is quite finicky. All the waits and quick save quick loads are quite precisely timed to make sure when I reach them, they'll be at just the right stage in the dialogue. And now I'm going to duplicate Dragon Bane using the old method. What I do is hold it up in front of myself, drop it, and then alternately spam quick save and E to take it. The quick saves lag the game, which makes it give me multiple Dragon Banes.
Isn't it amazing?
Now I'm just blitzing through the dialogue. I think normally Skyrim Temple, all this would take like 5 minutes, but it's easy to manipulate NPCs in this game. Another object clip here to get into High Hrothgar. The front doors are still locked because I skipped the part of the quest that unlocks the doors. Cool trick here, like a bit of an elevator. The textures out of bounds in Skyrim are really weird, a lot of them. And that one right there, if you jump into it with the right angle and the right height, it'll just push you upwards.
Where did you learn of that? They have all. Have you learned nothing from us? No, but heed my warning. No, it is called. We do not regret this law. Only Paarthurnax. He lives. He speaks to us. Only those.
I'll delay going out here a bit. That's just to make sure the words of power are already on the ground when I go out. It takes quite a while for the Greybeards to put them down. I delayed slightly there before leaving, since Clear Skies for some reason bugs out. You don't learn it if you go too quickly. Going up in this rock here, so I can jump and talk to Paarthurnax, that saves about 1 second over waiting on him to land.
Drem, are you? Not until introduction. But
And that wait saves about, it saves 1 second. It speeds his animation up by 2, but the wait itself takes a second. And it also causes a pretty funny sound glitch.
you would not come out, but you're our Hadrime. Drem, prove.
So after this dialogue with Paarthurnax, I'll be doing a glitch that lets me use the Elder Scroll anywhere. It's pretty simple. All I'll do is quick save on the time wound, fast travel away, and then load back onto it, and I can use the Elder Scroll wherever I want.
It was the camp. Which is why I
Once Paarthurnax finally leaves, I'll do it. For some reason he just stands here for like 7 seconds. He's supposed to fly away immediately.
You have
So where I'll be using the Elder Scroll is at my marriage. Like I said before, failing to attend your marriage enables player control. So by using the Elder Scroll during the marriage, I'll fail to attend it at the same time as I warp to the Dragonren cutscene, enabling control in the cutscene.
Ah, here's the proud groom. Tomorrow, the first game for all.
So now I have control in the cutscene, which saves a huge amount of time, about 2 minutes. First thing I'll do is kill this dragon, so the 3 heroes don't have to.
Today, Alduin's lordship will be restored.
The reason I'm fast traveling away is because I can't use quick save or quick load, or wait during the cutscene to skip dialogue, so I might as well do other stuff in the meantime. Dodge the courier right there. I think if he shows up there, you can't get him later on in the run, which is quite nice. Here I'll discover Palace of the Kings for later on, when I need to speak to Ulfric Stormcloak. I have to go back at this part, otherwise it'll just stay here because I have to learn Dragon Round. Once he looks at me, I can just fast travel away and back again, and the cutscene will be in its last phase. I can skip quite a lot here too. First I'll kill Gormlaith for Alduin by using a fire shout, and then spam E on Hakon and Feldir to skip their dialogue. I get pretty unlucky there. Alduin kind of bugs out and lifts Hakon up, takes ages to kill him, and now he has to turn all the way around to attack Feldir. Very bad luck in this run, actually. So the cutscene's ending now. I'll just leave and go and skip a bit of dialogue with Balgruuf while it's ending. I'll also initiate a mini cutscene between him and his subordinates that lasts about 5 or 6 seconds. And I'll just warp out right as that begins. Alduin won the fight now. This is a pretty difficult fight. First I'll favorite and hotkey the 3 abilities I need for the rest of the run. And then triple dragon round Alduin. Now I'm lining up with his wing here, using visual cues. That's because his wing does way less damage than any of his other attacks. And now I'm doing infinite power attack. Infinite power attack is where you hold down the 2 mouse buttons to do a power attack, and then quickly single tap them again to queue up a standard 2-handed attack after the power attack. This confuses the game and it stops the power attack from draining stamina. And since I do the fight perfectly, I can finish on a fire shout. Fire shout has no animation, whereas a sword swing animation is about 1 second. So with Alduin defeated, I'm going to set up the Peace Council and do the Peace Council. This is probably the only slow-paced part of the run.
Here. There. Come. Let's go find Sovngarde. My court.
Meanwhile, Sovngarde wants me to go to Bleak Falls Barrow, but we're somewhat beyond that point.
When I say straight to the... I learned of a certain stone tablet said to be housed in Bleak Falls Barrow. A dragon stone, said to contain a map of dragon burials.
I don't. Now what's this nonsense? I want. Oh, do you think? No, I can't.
Some dialogues I can just tab out of and leave on the last option, like that one. This is the first place where time schedule matters. At 4 AM and 6 AM, Arn Geir will be over at his brazier, praying, outside. It's technically the second fast spot to get him. He can be right here, in front of me, but it's really inconsistent. He used to show up there at 7 AM, now he doesn't. Not really sure what's going on.
I feared as much. We are not warriors. You misunderstand. I see. Part of...
And now I need to talk to General Tullius. Fire shooting this guard to aggro him from range before sheathing. Game crashes here, unfortunately. Castle Dur's like a 50% chance to crash on my PC. For some people it's pretty much 100% crash. And it loses about 3 seconds.
Do you have some read? Right. One of the prisoners. Why don't you... speak with the Greybeards. Why? There's nothing. They are get. My job is to quell this you... Yes, yes,
I'm telling
fine.
you.
He'd be insane to try. Helgen.
I love how some of the guards just blurt out words when you're leaving somewhere or fast traveling somewhere.
He's a true Nord. He'll come around. I remember you. Speak. It's about time they turned. I have the Empire's putting a great deal of I can't. Good. I doubt the Yes. And what would you have me do? If he's not with us.
I'll blame that one on the crash. Your inventory position resets when the game crashes, so my inventory should have been on Bucket as soon as I opened it, but it was actually on Amulet of Mara. Now it's time for the peace console. I'll do a wait here while standing up, so that the standing up animation happens during the console rather than when it's over and I'm free to leave. I'll be using quick save and quick loads to skip their dialogue, as well as some waits to move them around and make them speak sooner. So I'm not doing much here, but I still need to stay really focused because how optimally I skip the voice lines is actually pretty important. If done correctly, you won't hear them say anything, whereas if you hear an entire word, that's about 0.2 lost. And if you consider there's probably 60 or 70 voice lines in the console, it can make quite a big difference. Also, don't worry, the speedrun speeds up again. Odahviing and Sovngarde are pretty crazy.
We're here.
This is the one part we haven't found a way to skip yet. And we would really love to. There is actually a way to somewhat skip it by enabling control with the marriage and going in and out of the doors. But that's slightly faster in real time, but slower in in-game time.
First, let's be clear.
Some lines like this one can't be
council
skipped
wasn't my idea.
for some reason.
I think it's a waste of time. Since we're all here.
The drum.
You.
Don't. Can you?
I don't know about the end of the world, but this dragon situation has gotten out of hand. If this... We...
Some of the skips, their mouths will keep moving. They'll keep mouthing what they're supposed to be saying, but it still actually saves like 1 second to skip that dialogue.
The Stormcloaks will withdraw from the rift, allowing Imperial troops unhindered access. Jarl. You both.
Almost over.
Come on, Thalmor.
I'm afraid there's a
A lot of work.
The justice demands that. And I'm cross-referencing by calling the dragon with. He's not. I think it's very likely.
Giving up Markarth is a heavy price.
And now it's time to trap Odahviing and get the Odahviing. This is the second place where time schedule is important. Jarl Balgruuf, in the morning, he'll be, like early morning, he'll be eating breakfast at one of these tables, which is a bit closer than his throne, where he spends most of the day, and it's a lot quicker than his sleeping chambers, which are in the back of Dragon's Reach.
As I promised. My men know.
I can just call Odahviing from the inside here. Kinda surprising that that actually works. Once the quest updates, I'll wait to send the NPCs through. And then, as I open the door, I'll start casting Dragon Rend, so that when I go through the other side, I'll immediately cast it and hit Odahviing on his tail. Just checking to see if the guard's dead here. If he stays alive, then Odahviing will swoop down and grab him again. Once Odahviing's HP goes below a certain threshold, he'll start chasing me. Right there. And once he's about halfway towards me, I can just go out and in again, and he'll be trapped. Saving quite a lot of time.
Many among ourselves. Once he has been lost of
So I'll free Odahviing here, and then wait to get him out of his trap. Skip 2 lines, wait again, and then he's ready to take me to Skyrim. I'll tell him to take me before fast travelling away, and this skips the whole cutscene of him flying me off over the mountains. Now we're back to horse tilting. This one is one of my favourites. It's all about gaining height, so I go for a really high speed. I'll go sideways, since it's better for wiggling to gain height. And then once I've got enough height, I'll do like a sequence of movements that will put me right beside the portal. First I'll go forward into this little alcove here, and then back into the mountain, and then forward into one of these ridges surrounding the portal, where I can then cancel my speed. Now I'm in Sovngarde, where I have one more horse tilt to do. The reason I don't do it from where I enter is because I'm so high up that I'd have to land in the mountains off to the side, and it ends up being a bit slower. Thankfully this one is the easiest tilt in the run, so there's not too much chance to choke the run at the end. I just need to make sure I get a really low amount of speed, so I'm doing a lot of pause buffering. And then it's a small area, so I can just quick load and skim off the side of the hill for fall damage, and then finish as close as possible to Sun. One power attack and a fire shout's enough to beat him. That fire shout was pretty lucky to hit. Gotta get these 3 heroes to follow me. I'll just go in and out of the doors to skip their dialogue and advance them through their various states. Waiting here until they come out, and then I just need to go in and out twice more, and they'll be across the bridge. I can just go in and out once more, but it's not consistent. Sometimes they'll get stuck in the bridge, and it's not worth it. After this last clear skies, I'll go and get into position for dragon rending Alduin. I'll know when to skip the last 2 voice lines, as the Venmo Reek text at the bottom will disappear. Now I'm getting into position to dragon rend him as soon as he spawns. I can't actually look at the spawn location or it'll change, so I'm hiding behind this bit of rock here. And then as soon as the quest marker updates, I can peek around and dragon rend him. I'll be doing infinite power attack again this fight. I also have to dragon rend him again, otherwise he stops taking damage. And with the help of the 3 heroes for this fight, it's much easier than the first one. And timing ends on the final hit on Alduin. This death scene is awesome no matter how many times I see it. So I'm really happy with this run. I only made about 10 or 15 seconds of mistakes, which is crazy good, but I did lose about 30 seconds to bad luck. But there's nothing I can do about that. But anyway, thanks for watching everyone. I hope you enjoyed the commentary and find it informative. Coming up, I'm currently running an all guilds run, and I'll be doing a commentary of that as well. And I'm also making a horse tilting tutorial, so if you're curious how the horse tilting glitch works, be sure to check that out. But other than that, take it easy everyone, and I'll see you later.